What is going on, everybody? It's the Frosty here for AEW Presents Blood and Guts review for May the 5th, 2021. This match we have been looking forward to since it was announced last year when it was supposed to be the Inner Circle versus the Elite. Unfortunately, of course, the scamdemic hit, so we never got that match. We got it here tonight. Did it deliver? For the most part, yes. But just like AEW's Revolution, where they shit the bed with the end of that show, they once again shit the bed on this show. It's becoming much of a parody or an embarrassment on how the AEW is giving what we want, but taking a shit all over it in the end. We'll get to that when we do, but we started off with Kenny Omega and MT Nakazawa versus Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Nakazawa comes out, he's with Don Callis. Don Callis says, Kenny Omega wasn't able to make it here tonight, so MT's going to be wrestling this match on his own. Of course, the announcers the entire time are like, he's lying, we know he's here, he's in the back. So, Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston make their way out here from the crowd. Kenny Omega with the title, attack with the title from the behind on both men. And we have ourselves a match. Of course, Kenny Omega and Nakazawa get the early advantage. But towards the end of the match, Omega is on the outside. Kenny doesn't even try to come in to help Nakazawa, who's pretty much getting the hell beat out of him. And he's being choked out. He's just like, I'm good. I'm not going to wrestle this anymore. Omega leaves. Lariat, half and half suplex, double team combination to Nakazawa. 1, 2, 3. Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston get the win. So, after that, they're celebrating. I was hoping, because next week is the big title match for King Yuji Nagata and Jon Moxley. I was hoping that Nagata would be coming out and having a stare down against his opponent for next week. That would have been fantastic. But no, what we get instead is the Young Bucks come out. They stare these guys down. The Good Brothers come from behind. They beat them up. Young Bucks get in the ring. They beat the hell out of Moxley and Kingston. Kenny Omega comes back in. They all beat up and double team and triple team and quadruple team these guys. One Winged Angel on Kingston. Nick Jackson with a Mach 3 count. And that was that. I saw somebody mention this on social media tonight, and I have to agree with them. All AEW is doing with this reunion of the Bullet Club is trying to recapture the magic of what happened in New Japan. And it's just not hitting the mark. Not at all. It's just not hitting the mark. It doesn't feel special. It just feels like, everyone loved the nasty Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and the Psycho Kenny Omega in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's bring him here and see if we can do that here and recapture the magic. And it just doesn't work. It would probably be a lot better if, people didn't get to see, unless you were a tape trader back in the day, unless you were one of those people who, searched all over the world and all around for videotape of these guys and how they were in New Japan, but nobody else would have seen how these guys were in New Japan. It would make a little bit more sense because you could have that magic, maybe a little bit. But just the fact that most people who are watching AEW are people who gravitated from New Japan already have seen this act, and you're not breaking any new ground. So honestly, to me, it just feels like this has been falling flat for a very long time. So we find out that Hikaru Shida will take on the Faker at Double or Nothing on May 30th. And I'm sitting here thinking, wow, it's such a shame. Is Tony Kahn really going to be that stupid to book the Faker to become his AEW Women's Champion? If he is, then the women's division dies. Putting the championship on the fakest wrestler you have, which, yes, I know professional wrestling isn't real, but I'm calling her Faker for a reason, because she fucking sucks. She has sucked from day one. There's a reason they turned her heel, because she sucked as a babyface. She is even worse as a fucking heel. She can't it's sad because she was in a match with a woman named Julia Hart, who a few days ago, was on Cody Rhodes' Nightmare Factory showcase in a match where she looked okay. Then she was on, I believe, Dark Elevation on Monday or Dark last night, and she looked pretty good there too. The fact of the matter is, she had to do everything she could to make Britt Baker look good because Britt Baker can't make anyone look good. And they keep talking about the match she had with Thunder Rosa. Oh, that hardcore Lights Out match between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. They're still talking about it. You know why people are still talking about it? Because you guys won't shut up about it. And two, because it was the carry job of the century when it came to Thunder Rosa carrying the faker's ass who can't fucking wrestle right was shit. So, AEW needs to do the right thing. Shida, if you wanted to change the title, Shida should have lost it to Tay Conti because Tay Conti could be a heck of a champion. Giving it to the faker will do more damage to the women's division in AEW than help it. Speaking of not so important, not people who really don't feel that important as a wrestler, QT Marshall versus Cody Rhodes. First off, AEW wants to push that this is a blood feud. This is a big rivalry. One of the biggest, a big rivalry. They've had no matches until now. Cody got beat up by a bunch of his friends, a bunch of QT's cronies, disappeared for a while, and came back, beat him up last week, and now we're having a match. And I really could care less about this match. Cody wins with the figure 4. There was a spot in this match really early on. Cody wears his weight belt, takes it off, he wants to attack QT Marshall. Referee, like a smart person, takes the belt away and is like, no, we're not going to have that. QT gets a belt himself and whacks Cody with it. Referee does nothing about it but grabs the belt and throws it out. Where's the DQ? Okay, we go a little bit later. QT Marshall's on the outside. He shoves Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson then smacks him, grabs him, and is grinding his face against the ring post. Where's the fucking DQ? I am so sick and so tired of doing you make a mockery of your you make a mockery of the refereeing with the simple fact that you just it's why should I take refereeing seriously in AEW? You make your tag team wrestling makes your referees look stupid. This made Bryce Remsburg look fucking stupid. Oh, and then on top of that, Cody Rhodes hits a Tombstone Power Driver on QT Marshall. He kicks out at 2. He hits the Crossroads on QT Marshall. QT Marshall kicks out at 2. I'm like, no. First off, the Tombstone Power Driver should never be, you should never, ever kick out of the Tombstone Power Driver. Oh, well, Shawn Michaels did back in 2000. No. A guy like QT Marshall should never kick out of a Tombstone Power Driver, especially the fact that he got drilled straight on his head. No. And then, of course, he puts him in the crowd. Then you get a QT sucks chance from the crowd. QT with the middle finger. Cody's with the figure 4. Finally taps out, and Cody wins. But Cody somewhere got cut on his eye, and he was just bleeding. So that wasn't, blood and guts was not going to be the only time we got blood tonight. And I have a question is, why would you have Cody win? Aren't you supposed to establish QT Marshall as somebody who could challenge Cody? Because Cody just won out of nowhere. Just easily it seemed like. Then Anthony Ogogo comes out. One gut punch to the midsection. And Cody goes down. He puts the Union Jack over Cody's body. So, yeah. Anthony Ogogo has had one match. In that one match, he hit one gut punch, and that was that. I don't buy him as a wrestler yet. I am seeing him actually have a wrestling match. Coming in, hitting one gut punch, and getting a win doesn't count was shit for me. Get this guy in the ring. Let me see what this guy can do, and then we'll go from there. But until then, I don't give a shit if you're trying to get this gut punch over. I'm not buying it. Last week, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page attacked Sting. We see that. Up next, up in the stands, Alex Marvez with Scorpio Sky and Page. Scorpio Sky decided he wanted to invoke the "Who is afraid of the big black bat" line from Jim Carrey in, I think it was one of the Batman movies. He says, Sting is nothing but more than a mosquito sucking on the blood of AEW, and says we kill mosquitoes, and he lets Sting know he's overstayed his welcome. I'm the franchise now, bitch. Page says he and Allin have a long history with their matches, but who wants to talk about matches that nobody has seen? Page says Allin's paint is a cover-up of the dent Page once put in his forehead. So is the piece of metal that he had to have put in his arm. All of a sudden, Allin just attacks out of nowhere, throws Sky into the garbage cans as he's able to climb on top and hit a coffin drop on Page. Sky runs over with the trash can, smacks Allin with it. Page has some spiked boots and shoves Allin's face down into it. He throws Allin down the concrete steps, which looked brutal as shit. The medical eventually checks on Allin, just Page and Sky look on. Allin is able to make his way to the back. Now, this is going to be leading to the pay-per-view on the 30th. Sting and Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. Sting, Darby Allin, Page, and Sky. Makes all the sense in the world. So, that will be, unless they do another gimmick match, that'll be Sting's official in-ring debut in a proper tag team match in AEW. Will it be good? Hopefully. Will Sting be able to do much? I don't know. Putting Sting in tag team matches is the best way to go for Sting because of his age and his medical history. I know they talk about Allin's medical history. It probably isn't any better. But yeah, much better for that. The Faker took on Julia Hart, who, like I said, was in Cody's Nightmare Factory showcase a couple days ago and on Dark Elevation. She gets nothing in, but Faker wins by submission. I really don't give a shit. We get some tags going over Christian Cage's Frog Splash and Kill Switch. Really don't care about that. And we go to the Varsity Blondes versus SCU versus The Acclaim versus Jurassic Express with Michael Snett, title eliminator. The winner of this match goes to next week to take on the Young Bucks for the tag team titles. Now remember, SCU has stated since December, the next time they lose a match, they are done as a tag team. So, I'm going into this thinking, and I'm sure others were too, as long as they don't get pinned, they haven't technically lost the match, even if they don't win. But then, AEW had the genius idea to be like, well, if SCU doesn't win this match, whether they get pinned or not, that's it, they're done. That's their final tag team match together. So, right off the bat, you spoiled who was winning this match. Which I think was fucking stupid. It's like, how are you going to sit there and just be like, oh, well, yeah, if they lose this match, even if they don't get pinned, then they're done. Like, what the fuck? Why? Why would it be like that? Why would you do that, is my question. So, yeah. We have the match here, and I fucking hate 4-way tag team, triple threat or 4-way tag team matches where there's only 2 men in the ring, anybody can tag out to anybody. It's stupid. And this match was a fucking mess. I don't know who was legal by the end of the match. I lost track. My dad was like Max Caster and Jungle Boy. Of course, Jungle Boy got tagged out. The Frank Kazarian tagged in. I don't know. This was a fucking mess. Convoluted mess of a match. BME 1, 2, 3. SCU gets the wins. They take on the Young Bucks. So, next week, the Young Bucks are not losing next week. So, unless you have a no contest, which is the only way to get out of this and lead us to a pay-per-view match, which makes more sense, SCU is done next week. So, you built up this entire thing for SCU to just do that. Get us to a regular show. Just get us to a regular show and have them lose. Wow. I just can't even. Yeah. So next week, expect SC. It's like either SCU wins the tag team titles, we get a no contest, which would make the most sense, or SCU is done as a tag team in AEW, and it will probably be the last night of Chris. We won't see. It's just, man, is it so frustrating with this shit. You've built this up since December. If you were booking this show, if you were booking these two, they're going to go from December till whatever the end date is for their breakup. They're going to go undefeated. They're going to win every tag team match. I know they've been in 8-man tag team matches. Those ones haven't counted. They've been in 6-man tag team matches. Those match hasn't counted. But you're going to have them go all this time. Say the very next time on a tag team match they lose, they're done. Wouldn't you book that final match to be at a pay-per-view? Because I do not see the Young Bucks losing next week. The only way the Young Bucks lose next week is if Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston screw them next week, which isn't going to happen. Jon Moxley already has a match against Yuji Nagata next week. So why would he be needing to find time to fuck with the Young Bucks? That comes at a later time. So, yeah. I don't see why you would have I don't see why you would not push this and say, you could have been like, as long as they don't get pinned, they don't have to break up. Because if they get pinned, of course they lost. But if they don't get pinned, then they still haven't technically lost, so they continue on. We still have 4 weeks till Double or Nothing. You could have the tag team match between Young Bucks and somebody else next week. You could have had Christopher Daniels and them get the match at Double or Nothing and find a way to get to that. But no, you're breaking them up next week, or they're winning the tag team titles, and I don't see that. Or, again, we have a no contest in which you have the match again at Double or Nothing, where the breakup should happen. Tony Schiavone is with Kenny Omega, announced a big announcement for next. I wish this was on YouTube or somewhere. Oh, maybe it is. This was good shit. I hope it's on here all the way. But Kenny Omega. Nope, no, it's not. Damn it. Kenny Omega is out here, and next week's going to be a loaded show too. Next week we have Jon Moxley versus Yuji Nagata for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. U.S. Heavyweight Championship. You have the tag team titles on the line. We find out that Darby Allin will be defending the TNT Championship next week. Also, next week, the top 2 contenders in AEW will go 1-on-1 for a chance to face Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing. And those 2 top contenders are Pac and Orange Cassidy. I really, really wish this promo was on here, but it's not. Pretty much, Kenny Omega brushes Orange Cassidy off, expects it to be Pac and him. I mean, he does mention the fact that Pac has beat him and made him tap out, has pinned him, has beaten him in tag team matches before, and of course, Kenny Omega wants that match. He laughs off the notion that, oh, yeah, this guy, you expect me to believe that this guy has a chance to be number 1 contender, and just goes, pretty much just go all over him, and berates him, talks down to him, makes fun of him, even takes his sunglasses off and gives him the Nakazawa. And you're pretty much telegraphing that if Orange Cassidy does not win next week, I will be fucking shocked. Pac versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World title sounds spicy, sounds great. I would love to see that match. But, yeah. I do not expect anything more but a Orange Cassidy win next week. And we get Orange Cassidy versus Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing. Now, you would have told me that a year ago that this is a possibility to happen, I would have called you crazy. But the way it looks right now, Orange Cassidy versus Kenny Omega or Pac versus Kenny Omega are your options coming out of next week. And then we go, I thought we were going to Blood and Guts. Then we go to Miro. He says if someone has a title, they have a problem. Miro pulls out a signed contract and says 7 days from tonight, he is getting his destiny. Darby Allin next week. Miro says the world finds out why the mind who doesn't mind dying meets the man who doesn't mind killing them. So yes, Darby Allin takes on Miro. It's time to take the title off of Darby Allin. I'll tell you right now, if Darby Allin, Darby Allin has been a ratings draw, apparently. I guess he's been doing great ratings. His segments have been great, but it's time to take the title off of Darby Allin. I am sick of watching Darby Allin matches end in the same fashion I don't mean hit the coffin drop, get the win. That's just typical wrestling. That's what you do, but that's not what's been going on. The motherfucker beat 10 out of luck. He beat Jungle Boy out of luck. And you know what both of those matches have in common? He's been getting his ass kicked over and over. And by the way, he just got thrown down a set of concrete stairs. So, next week, if Darby Allin somehow, someway beats Miro out of the blue, you would have ruined the TNT Championship because the champion is nothing, and it's just it's just no. Next week, Darby Allin TNT Championship is done. I mean, if you're gonna have Darby Allin get thrown down a set of concrete stairs and then beat Miro, Miro's career in AEW is going nowhere, and Darby Allin is one of the worst champions they have ever made. Then we go to Blood and Guts. Multiple things were wrong with this match. Number one, shame on Tony Kahn for not talking or working with TNT to get this to be a commercial-free match. This for the start to almost the finish was great. The violence, the hard hitting, the blood, everything was great. Except for that ending, but everything. But 3 commercial breaks, and on top of that, the second one, because everything went into picture-in-picture. Everything. Every time. But that second commercial break, I don't know what the hell's wrong with TNT, but they do this all the time. Oh, we'll be right back. We're going to be in picture-in-picture. We get halfway through a commercial break, they cut the picture-in-picture, and we're stuck with just commercials, and we miss a bunch of shit. Well, in this match, in the second commercial break, we cut the picture-in-picture, we come back, and the second ring is tore up. What the hell happened? Why did we have to miss what they're doing in here because you decided to go to cut picture-in-picture? And then that finish. So, the Inner Circle towards the end, after the second picture-in-picture, is dominating. They're destroying everybody. Wardlow comes back. He gets beat. He starts getting a hot streak coming back, but he gets taken down. It takes all members of the Inner Circle pretty much to beat him. And then we go to commercial break again for the third set of picture-in-picture. By the time that happened, Jericho and MJF were on top of the cage, on top of the structure. I don't know what is with this like the top of the roof, but a good section of it was with this black clear ceiling. From the inside, it looked like there was no. It was wide open, but it wasn't because MJF did walk across it, and so did Jericho. But they're fighting up there. He has the Salt of the Earth on Jericho a couple times. Jericho won't give up. They get to the end where the stage is. And Jericho is groggy. And MJF grabs him and says to them, if you don't surrender, I'm going to throw him off of this. And they're like, don't do it. Just, please don't do it. Then Sammy Guevara says, we surrender. Here's my problem. First off, it was not real concrete. It was not real metal. After the match is over, he throws him off anyway. Now, it looks like a steel grate. It looks like they walk on steel, like a steel grate. But he falls off and it explodes. It was fucking fake. And it wasn't even that far of a drop. It was maybe 6, 7, 8 feet at best. So, the fact that you even had Chris Jericho, you had the Inner Circle surrender in that manner was pathetic. Tony Kahn needs to get his hands off the book because he is ruining these big moments. This is twice this year you have promised us something and have let us down in the end. That was pathetic, lame-ass finish. Jericho, and after the match, he throws him off into a crash pad anyway. What was the fucking point? Like, if you want, like, the Inner Circle, I'm sorry. The Pinnacle had to win the match. Because if you didn't have them win, it would have been a big letdown. And what was the point of making making this feud anyway? If the Inner Circle was just going to win. So, yes, they needed to win. But this was the best finish you could come up with? Order of entry was as followed. Of course, Mr. Sammy Guevara said he was going to start. Now, the theme of both teams was the Pinnacle was all in white, so, blood all around. The Inner Circle were wearing black jumpsuits with a jail from around where they're at. So, we started off with Sammy Guevara and Dax Hardwood, which Dax got bloodied fast. He was bleeding, after, 2 minutes. Sean Spears came in, then Ortiz came in, Cash Wheeler came in, then Santana came in. Wardlow entered during the commercial break. Unfortunately, again, there should have been no commercial for this match. Plain and simple. You're getting into this match, and this is one of the things, Jay Earth talked about this a bunch of times on his podcast, many times, in many different podcasts he's done. Commercials kill the flow of a show. This is why having this on pay-per-view would have been so much better if they would have been able to put this on Double or Nothing, which I can understand why you don't want to put it on Double or Nothing, because what's going to follow this? Other than that shit ending, what the fuck is going to follow this? You're not going to want to put Kenny Omega and Pac Orange Cassidy on after this match. So I can see why they wanted to do it here. However, this lost a lot of flow. I mean, I'm sure the people who are watching on Fight TV in other parts of the world probably got a lot more better out of this than people in the States, because we had to deal with commercial breaks. Jake Hager came in, then it was down to the last two. MJF came in, which thankfully they were not a commercial for this, because he came in and the 1,500 plus people just rained down the boos. Jericho comes in, both teams are in one ring each, and we get the stare down, the standoff, and they just go at each other. And it wasn't too long after that, we go to another commercial break. We came back to commercial right before MJF joins in the ring. He comes in, Jericho comes in, they have the brawl, back to commercial break. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Tony Khan should be ashamed of himself because he fucked again. It's like, you build up a lot of trust with your fans and you're going to fucking do another flat-ass finish like that? Here's a good idea. Here's a good idea. Nah, don't ever do that again. That was terrible. Commercials were not necessary. And yeah, I can see why they did, like MJF was like having the end of the finish and having MJF be the one that caused the Inner Circle to surrender was supposed to bring him to new heights, and they fucked it up. So, also, here's another interesting thing. First hour of Blood and Guts tonight was pre-taped, apparently. So, the people who were sitting there waiting for Blood and Guts, watched the first hour on the big screen. Wow. That's crazy, the fact that the first hour was pre-taped. That's fucking stupid. I can see why you wanted to do that, because you didn't want to tire the fans out, but that's what the Faker was for. So people could sit there, have about 2 minutes or so, cool themselves down, and then go from there. So yeah. Tony Kahn, they need to do something and shake something up, because honestly, how many more big, like, I can't trust AEW with another big match like this, because this is the second time they fucking let us down. Great match until the finish. Just like at Revolution. Great match until the finish and the post. And they're going to probably sit there and try and defend this. It was fucking bullshit. Again, the Inner Circle needed to lose. They needed to put the other team over, because if you don't put the other team over, what was the point of even making that team? What would have been the point of having the Pinnacle if they were just going to do a loss? It wouldn't have worked. So yeah, hopefully somebody just gets it in Tony's head that you can't keep doing this bullshit. That was just one of the lamest finishes I've seen. The fact it's like, oh, we're gonna like, I'm gonna throw him off if you don't do this. And then he throws him off anyway. It splashes and it explodes as if and you see the crash pad. You see the fucking crash pad. It makes it even worse. This was a bad finish. How to ruin an epic match in about 30 seconds. Right then and there. Because I guarantee you, if that was real steel, if that was a real steel, some real steel grate, it wouldn't have exploded like that. That it's like WWE booking 101 right here. This is WWE style booking. And AEW should be better than this. Oh, we're going to be the alternative. We're going to give fans what they want. Well, what the fans want is an epic match with an epic finish, not an epic match with a finish that you shit all over the fans. Terrible. Just fucking terrible. Next week should be hopefully better. I mean, Darby Allin versus Miro should be the end of Darby Allin's title reign. It makes the most sense, especially since he just got thrown down a thing of concrete steps. Miro did say, like, Tony Schiavone did try to read out in that contract that if Darby Allin doesn't show up next week or can't make it, that Miro will become champion. But Miro's like, fuck that, no. I don't want no handouts. I want to earn my championship. So, yeah. Should be interesting to see what they do. So, yeah. Again, big letdown. AEW should know better than that. But Tony Kahn can't stop but fuck up every once in a while. Until then, hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/the Club. And find me on Instagram at the France Club. And I will see you guys Friday for SmackDown in a post-Daniel Bryan world. Until then, my name is the France, and I'll see you guys later.